Hi again, this is Professor Ennis, and this is your second from last module for the course on South Park, and we are going to be doing the discussion on gay marriage and on music. So we'll start with gay marriage. With gay marriage, we've got a problem in the sense that we're asking us to discuss the institution of marriage, which apparently hitherto was designed for men and women, namely a man and a woman. The woman would marry the man. And in that sense, it's a very traditional institution. It just doesn't fit, therefore, that two men would want to get married or two women would want to get married. So that's the controversy we have. And again, we're just thinking to ourselves, so we've got the institution of marriage, and that's the way it's been set hitherto. Now, within South Park, we've got the argument or the ideas put forward that it should be allowed that a man should marry a man or a woman should marry a woman, so same-sex marriage. And then we have the arguments put forward for and against. So we could put forward the argument against same-sex marriage because custom dictates that it's between a man and a woman. Alright, okay, then it's between a man and a woman to bring children into the world. So we think, okay, is that a good argument? No, it doesn't tend to be a good argument because there are lots of marriages out there which don't bring in children between men and women. And there are lots of gay marriages out there which result in adoption and bringing up children. So, that's not a very good argument. So you're going to go through these different arguments here to try and delve into what is the better argument for or against. And again, they're just as poor as each other. And it's hinted here, more than hinted in South Park, that we've got this consideration of negative liberty. And through negative liberty, we could say here that we are allowed to do things as long as they don't bring harm to others. So in that sense, I am allowed to carry out my life without external restraints as long as I don't bring harm to others. Right, basically. I mean, it's as simple as that. So you could say, therefore, if we're living in this civil society, if these two people want to get married and they're both the same sex, it's not going to harm me, so what can I do about it? Maybe that's the strongest argument we have for this argument. With that, you're going to look through the different cartoons, and in particular, you've got this one here, which is, let me see this one, I never remember the title of this one. Was it Follow the Egg? I think it is. Let's have a look. There we go. Yeah, Follow the Egg. So you've got Follow the Egg, and that goes through the whole discussion here about banning same-sex marriage and allowing same-sex marriage. As we know in the United States, which is, by the way, far behind other countries, the Supreme Court has basically said that same-sex marriage is permissible. It is not unconstitutional. In fact, it would be unconstitutional to deny people the right to same-sex marriage. And again, it's all to do with rights with this discussion. That's quite important. So in that sense, yeah, it's a very controversial issue, but very, very up-to-date, and one which we're still discussing. Okay, so that's the gay marriage, and again, make sure that you use lots of reference to the cartoons in whatever you do, whether it's your homework, the essays, the exams, whatever, journals, blogs, whatever. Refer to those cartoons, please. It's important because, again, this is about South Park, so therefore you're going to be referring to these particular media. So please refer to them at all times, no matter what you're doing. And in this case, like I said here, you've got this particular one on Follow the Egg. Now I've got it right, we've got other cartoons to refer to, but particularly you've got this one. Okay, so please refer to them. And I think that's all we need about gay marriage here. And again, don't forget that negative liberty. Discuss negative liberty. What does that mean? Because that might be the only reason here that we are going to allow people to get married with the same sex, based upon the argument for rights. And again, this is to do with rights. Elsewhere in other countries, they have different considerations. It's not rights, it's to do with utilitarianism, the greatest good for the greater number, and all that type of stuff, which we don't need to go in here. But in America, it's to do with rights. Okay, so that's gay marriage sorted out here. So have a good discussion there, please. Now, the second part, we've have this discussion on music. And keep in mind here, this music has to do with appealing to people's emotions. We can bring in Brecht with this one again. In a sense, it's going to shock people or stir people. It's going to make them feel differently by the use of music. Now, it may be the case that this music is irrelevant to the particular dispute or the thing you want people to think about, but nonetheless it gets them to think. And you're going to have that discussion here. If I can get to that particular cartoon, I'm trying to remember which one it was, either Summer Sucks or About Last Night. You've got here the use of music to bring about a consideration of something. And here you've got this notion of force being put forward. You're going to talk about pathos and will, free will, and the force it has to get people to think. And again, it's music. And again, music, you might think, has got nothing to do with the particular performance here, but it does have an effect. And within modern day presentation on film, it is the case that this music can be used at all times. So it is used. Right. So with that in mind, discuss how music is important and put forward those examples, please. And you've got two reasonable cartoons to deal with this here. You'll be referring to the Greeks in regards to this discussion. They talked about music, and even to the point of which music could be banned. I mean, which, you know, sounds strange. It might sound strange. We can ban a certain type of music, just not nothing to do with the lyrics, which are attached to the music here, but just the music itself. It could be banned because it's seen as offensive. So therefore, according to the interpretation in the text, you've got the screeching sound of distorted guitars. That could therefore result in quite a lot of music out there being banned because it is objectionable. And this brings, you know, me in mind about the Jimi Hendrix rendition of the Stars and Stripes. You know, are people being genuinely critical of his rendition because of their knowledge of Platonic aesthetics in music, or is it just because they don't like it? I don't know. You can think about that yourself here. So that's the type of thinking we have here. You know, music has that effect on people. Should it be used? Should it not be used? Again, we've got those problems. Right, so that's music. So enjoy that bit on music. I'll let you come up with some ideas, but nonetheless, refer to the cartoons when talking about music, please. Okay, we're getting towards the end of this course, so make sure you understand that these later assignments are worth more credit, even to the point here, you know, it could make a difference of a grade with these particular assignments. So make sure you put your effort into them, and more effort than you might have been doing in the past. And that effort, as I keep emphasizing here, is referring to the cartoons. This course is on South Park, so refer to the cartoons on South Park, please. Okay, so that's the major point I have to make here. Also, I'm going to mention as well the course evaluations. I'm going to put up an assignment column in the grade book with, say, might be 50, I'll say 60 points. You get 60 points if you do the evaluations. So keep that in mind, please. So when you get that email from the administration, do the evaluation and put down that you have done it in the slot, in the column, please. And we'll discuss more of that later as well. I'll probably put that slot in the grade book next week, but there'll be the incentive to do the evaluation. And teachers like the evaluation, so therefore they can make improvements to the course. Because again, I'm not the one taking the course, you are. You may have seen things which need to be improved, which I have not seen or have not been alerted to improving. Okay, so I think that will do for this particular video. So let me know if you need anything, and I'll be talking to you online, please. Thanks a lot, and have a nice module. Bye-bye.